Welcome back, everyone, to the grand finale of our 5-part explainer series on how to raise a child capable of getting into medical school. Today, we're unpacking the final insights from this fascinating source document outlining the educational philosophy of a parent who actually successfully raised multiple medical students, and we're going to reveal the absolute hidden value of dedicated parent-child communication time. Honestly, if you've ever felt like there just aren't enough hours in the day to truly connect with your kids, well, this explainer is going to completely change how you view your daily routine.
So here is our roadmap for unpacking this final secret. We're going to start with how capability equals freedom. Look at the very real challenge of finding time, explore this concept of the commute sanctuary, see how it builds real-world understanding, introduce a brilliant AI-powered learning strategy, and wrap it all up with prioritizing connection. Let's just dive right into it.
Okay, Section 1, capability equals freedom. Now, in Taiwan, getting admission to medical school is, well, it's incredibly competitive. It is really reserved for the absolute top tier of students. But the source material makes this absolutely vital distinction. The true goal of this parent's entire method was never actually to force their kids into a medical career. The goal was building the underlying capability to get in. Because think about it, once a child has the capability to conquer something that incredibly difficult, they suddenly possess the ultimate freedom to choose literally whatever life path they actually desire. In this sense, medical school just becomes a proxy for peak capability.
Before we hit today's core secret, let's just quickly recap the foundational steps from the first 4 parts of this series, just to ground us. Episode 1 was all about building a will to overcome difficulties, instilling that grit. Episode 2 taught a practical method for this, breaking massive problems down piece by piece to conquer them and build up that confidence. Episode 3 tackled the modern parent's absolute worst nightmare, which is smartphone management and avoiding digital addiction. And Episode 4 focused on character building through rational, objective problem solving, which was inspired by the Good Behavior Game.
Right, moving on to Section 2, finding the time. We all know parent-child communication is absolutely essential, right? But let's look at the reality of modern life. Kids are totally swamped with school, tutoring, and homework. Parents are just exhausted from work. By the time everyone is finally home, it's pretty much bedtime. So where does the time for deep, meaningful daily dialogue actually come from? Usually, any free minutes just get swallowed up by smartphones, television, or, the endless hamster wheel of household chores.
And this brings us to a major paradigm shift. Society, relatives, friends, they all constantly pressure parents to foster early independence. You hear it all the time. Oh, let them take the bus, or the MRT is so convenient, just let them commute themselves. And while independence is for sure vital, the parent in our focus today made a highly counterintuitive choice. They insisted on driving their kids to and from school every single day. They deliberately traded a bit of early transit independence for something they deemed far, far more valuable: guaranteed connection.
Which leads us to Section 3, the commute sanctuary. You see, the true purpose of this commute has absolutely nothing to do with transportation efficiency. Actually, taking public transit would probably be easier. But once those car doors close, something kind of magical happens. It becomes a total distraction-free bubble. There's no TV, there are no chores waiting in the back seat, nobody else can interrupt. It guarantees a dedicated, unavoidable block of parent-child communication twice a day. They are literally a captive audience to one another.
All right, Section 4, understanding the world.
So, what do they actually talk about in this mobile sanctuary? You might think it's the usual, right? How was school? Did you do your homework? But it's not. They discuss incredibly mature, real-world topics. The parent brings up everything from why a specific U.S. president was elected, to the complex mechanics of the Ukraine-Russia war, to energy issues and economic sanctions. They look at local Taiwanese politics, impartially discussing the reasoning behind different political parties. They even tackle huge societal issues like why young people face high housing prices or why birth rates are dropping. And the key here is, they aren't taking sides on these issues, they are neutrally exploring the why behind how the entire world works.
So the crucial takeaway here is this: they aren't memorizing facts just to pass a test. By simply engaging in these daily, wide-ranging conversations, the child naturally builds a robust, intuitive cognitive framework of the world. The source actually notes that when these students take their high-stakes exams, they intuitively ace the social studies sections. They literally don't need to spend hours in cram schools because they've already developed a deep, logical understanding of global relationships and societal mechanics just through daily conversation.
Let's move to Section 5, AI-powered daily learning. Let's look at how this builds into an incredible learning system using modern tech.
Here is the daily timeline. During the morning commute, they discuss a current event, let's say global energy policies. Then, during the day, while the kids are at school, the parent uses ChatGPT to generate custom English reading and dialogue materials specifically about those energy policies, tailored perfectly to their child's current reading level. Finally, on the evening commute, they practice that exact English together. It's brilliant.
Because, as this quote perfectly summarizes, technology is a tool, not an enemy. If we just stop fighting AI and smartphones, we can turn them into really powerful co-teachers. Think about it. The child is simultaneously practicing English vocabulary and grammar while deepening their understanding of a complex global issue. It completely transforms a mundane daily commute into a dynamic, personalized language and social studies lab. Now, here is something I absolutely love about this source material. What's genuinely amazing is that this parent has open-sourced their legacy. They completely recognize that not every parent has the time to curate topics and generate AI materials during their busy workday. So they have placed all their daily discussion topics and AI-generated English materials online for free. Any busy parent watching this explainer can literally go download and use these exact resources right now to kickstart their own commute conversations. It's a real game changer.
Finally, Section 6, Connection over Independence.
The source asks us a really profound question here. Yes, of course, kids need to learn to be independent, but before we just rush them onto the bus by themselves, we must ask ourselves if there is a better balance to be struck. Because the window of time we actually have for irreplaceable, deep parent-child dialogue is shockingly short. Once they go off to college or enter the workforce, these daily captive audience opportunities vanish completely. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought based on this incredible parent's journey. A car ride might seem like an inefficient waste of time or maybe even a barrier to a child's independence. But will you trade a little bit of that independence today to reclaim your commute? Can you turn that closed-door space into the ultimate educational and bonding sanctuary, giving your child the capability to conquer their future and giving yourself the most precious conversations of a lifetime? Honestly, it's something we should all think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer series.